So, guys, honestly, this is why a lot of people could not live in this country. It is hot. You just can't do anything and all your energy is sucked from you. I don't know if you've seen, but it's reaching 50 degrees in Pratt. So we're just off to run some errands and we're going to be getting some plastic to cover the car. Because the actual cover that was on this marquee, the sun burnt it to death. So now we're going to go and find another piece of plastic for that. We're going to be going to our local hardware place. We'll take you along, stopping for some coffee and the heat, guys. I mean, I can't stress enough. If you're not made for heat and you don't do very well in it, then spend 6 months off Thailand and 6 months in Thailand. You know, stay away in the hot season, because I've actually been sleeping a lot more than I usually sleep because I just feel exhausted all the time with it, and it is really the heat. I thought I was getting sick or something, but it was just the heat. We've got the cow over there with no grass to eat because the heat has killed it all. And we're taking Hugo now out. Otis is at school. Hugo's become the new baby of the vlog, where Tish used to be the baby of the vlog. I've said it before in the vlog, I'll say it again. My least favourite season. I love the cold season. Sometimes I just feel like I'm battling it through and like wishing the days away, which is never good in life, right? You don't want to be wishing your days away. But I kind of am like, oh, please just bring the rains. Just get me out of this hot season. I mean, some people would love it because they're like, oh, I love a nice hot sunny day. I do some sunbathing and stuff like that, but I don't sunbathe. Damo doesn't sunbathe. If anything, we're trying to keep out of the sun, you know. It's hard on the animals. Like, the animals struggle and a lot of our plants die. So, I mean, the 2 times of the year that our plants die, when the sun is absolutely banging down hard, and then sometimes when the rains come and it's the rain season and things flood, they're the 2 times for our plants that, you know, can be a little bit tough. Anyway, let's go to the hardware store and see if I can find some plastic for this thing. Little Hugo doesn't get out of the house much, to be honest. This is one of his... You don't get out much, do you? But you always say, bah. He says, let's go, let's go. So this is our local hardware store. We need like a big piece of plastic to cover that car. I mean, it's just getting crazy. This is the heat, guys. This is what I got to do. And also the air cons are working harder. When we used to live in the bamboo huts, it's like you'd hardly noticed it back then, but I think we'd resigned ourselves to a life of heat, so it wasn't so noticeable. Now when you come out of the aircon room, it just hits you like a ton of bricks, you know. The really intense heat. What do you think? Wanna go? Bah. Over the years as well, we've really supported this shop because it's your local hardware store. You know, you could get cheaper by going to the big Home Pros and the big outlets, but we always come here. And when we built our cottage, we got all of our materials from here, or the majority of the materials from here. Some of the specialist stuff they didn't have, things like insulation, certain gypsum boards and things like that they didn't have, but anything we could, we bought here local, just to support the locals here. To be honest, the price is about 10-15% higher, but it's negligible, and it's convenient because especially when you're building, you can just pop down and grab anything that you need. People are struggling here, guys. Like, I know we don't discuss it on the vlog very much, but just like anywhere else in the world, inflation has hit people. You know, there's big supermarkets opening that shut small businesses down. Less so in Thailand though. The reason is because the supermarkets are crap in comparison to the offerings of the local Thai food in the market, so people don't want to pay the extra. I think Tesco didn't last very long here. That's why they now have it as Lotus. But people struggle. And yeah, what's wrong? Here you go. You're gonna go to mummy in a second, aren't you? People struggle to make ends meet, so you got to think local. You got to buy local. Like with our cafes as well, we don't go to the same cafe every day, even though there's one that has the best coffee. We move around, you know, and make sure we're visiting all of them. And they appreciate your support. The local businesses appreciate your support. This is all of the concrete for the walls, the floor. We bought all of our foundation from here. And the builders themselves, there's some kind of deal that they have here with this shop where they work together. for the materials, and this is all the steel as well. We bought the steel from here when we built our house, and we still buy the steel from here. You look worried. What are you so worried for? Huh? Do you want mummy? I think he wants his mummy now. He's very much a mummy's boy. Go. Whereas Otis is the daddy's boy. Now the other little side business they have here that you wouldn't know about unless you lived in rural Thailand is they sell the rice whiskey. A lot of people do the rice whiskey business, and what they do is they'll buy a bottle of rice whiskey and then they divide it up into shots. So say a bottle's 120 baht for every bottle, something like that. Then they can get out of that maybe 20 shots, and they'll sell those shots for 20 baht each, for example. That's not the exact maths, but because a lot of these people don't have two coins to rub together, like they're literally living off 10 bahts and 20 bahts, and they need the lao khao, they'll happily, rather than pay for a bottle, they'll go and buy it, glass by glass. I mean, that's what it's like around here. We don't always show that side, but you live amongst impoverished farmers. I mean, there are many people that are well-to-do here as well, like they've got money and whatnot, and the lifestyle is not impoverished. Like they're not sitting on the floor or sleeping on the streets like you see in the UK. It's nice to get it's a hot day, it's a sunny day, they're getting a bowl of rice, they're able to enjoy each other's company, they're happy, that kind of thing. They're not sleeping on the streets, there's always the temple to go to, but there still is poverty. I keep buying, another example of this is I keep buying brushes off Damo's uncle, and he makes these brushes from bamboo. They're beautiful brushes, and I think I've got about 15 now because he needs the money and I keep ordering them from him. So he'll make the brushes and he sells them for 150 baht for 3. You know what I mean? So it's hardly breaking the bank, and it takes him a couple of hours to make them. I chuck him a bit extra on the side, but I also keep ordering them. So now at our house we've got like 15 brushes, and I'm going to be ordering more from him because that's how he survives, on nothing, on 150 baht, which I'll spend on my morning coffee every day. I'll do 10 times that in 7-Eleven. So I keep buying these brushes from him anyway because I don't want to give handouts, especially in the village. At Christmas and New Year I do, but you don't want to be giving handouts because then you just start to get treated like an ATM. One of my favourite YouTubers, Soft White Underbelly, Mark, from Soft White Underbelly, he manages all these GoFundMe things for all of these people on Skid Row, and he does a lot of work where people can contribute to these GoFundMe, and it's been nothing but a headache for him. I mean, he's getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for all these people and he's giving it all away, but then apparently they come back to him again and again, they ask for more money, and then in the end it's they can get vindictive as well and say, we're going to do this to you and do that if you don't give money. That's what happens when you start messing around with giving money through YouTube. It's just not worth it. He's since cancelled all these GoFundMes for other reasons that I won't go into on this vlog, but he's cancelled it because it's too much of a bloody headache for him. And that's what I don't want to do with the village. A lot of people said, why don't you set something up for the villagers? You don't want to give money. Better to buy his brushes. His brushes are like this. These are like the brushes that he'll make. These on the left hand side. So we've got loads of them at the house now, but they do wear down. I keep buying them, but it's better to exchange the money for some kind of product or work, something like that. That is better than giving handouts. You got to be careful with that, and that's how a lot of these farang ends up as the village ATM. I know I've got some subscribers that, not criticising you or anything, but you have reached out to me. You said that you not only pay for your own shopping, but the family's shopping and the village's shopping and all that stuff. And once you set the precedent, you can't come back. My advice to a lot of expats, if you come here to rural Thailand, don't be Charlie Big Timing. Don't be throwing money around. Don't be buying everybody everything, because you will just be seen as an ATM. And in a lot of cases, it ends up you just become like a bottomless pit of giving and money. And what started out as kindness ends up becoming obligation. You're then obligated to give. I've not had much direct experience of this. There's been a few instances where I felt kind of put upon a little bit. However, many of my subscribers quite a number of the subscribers have told me about their predicaments. A lot of them are quite wealthy anyway, so they don't care, so they're just like, well, whatever. It's not a lot of money. I mean, if you can help, but just be aware. Like in anything in life, when money comes into it, it's like, you loan some money to a friend and then you're not friends with them again, and then you're like, well, what happened to pay me back? And then they just block you. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's the first thing. Second thing is, don't turn into an arsehole. There's my second piece of advice for living in Thailand. You've seen this stuff in the news recently about this guy down in Phuket kicking some doctor on the beach. Like, I don't know the ins and outs of that. Like, I can't tell you what happened there, or I wasn't there, you know what I mean? I also don't want to jump on the old bandwagon of the story. I usually don't follow these stories, but Damo told me about it, and I saw the video. But for me, what it reeks of is just a kind of entitlement. I've spent a lot of time around a lot of wealthy people, and some of them can handle it and some of them can't. Usually the seriously wealthy people can handle it, but then those kind of people in the middle that build a big ego out of it and just become really entitled. Like in Thailand, you're treated like a king or a queen. In Thailand, they're going to be friendly with you all the time. You live a life of complete and utter luxury, in my opinion. Like if I was to compare my lifestyle here, in this beautiful, I mean, look what I'm looking at. It's a perfect example. If I compare my lifestyle here with the lifestyle that I would live in Bolton, in England, where it's raining and there's poverty and there's people sleeping on the streets and there's drugs and there's, spice and there's all that stuff. Then there's no comparison. You're living a life of luxury, and that can, and has in the past with me also, can make you a little bit entitled. I found myself in certain situations where my behaviour has been a little bit like, hold on a second, reconnect with your gratitude a second, don't be so entitled. I think it's the price you pay sometimes when things work out in life, or they are working out, and you have like a certain expectation of how things are, and then when your expectations are not met, you can get a little bit like armchair toddler, you know what I mean? Throwing your toys out the pram. Just kind of become accustomed to the beauty, the sunshine, the great food, the genuinely like nice attitude, being served upon all the time. Like you're waited upon here all the time. I guess like in the States and the UK you are as well to some extent, but here you're waited upon for a fraction of the price. When you go into cafes and you go into restaurants and things like that. Generally, people are super friendly and super polite and super going to ask you about your life and stuff. And don't become an entitled arsehole that thinks you're somehow better than the Thais. You're not better than the Thais. You're a guest. And you're always going to be a guest. In this country, you're always a guest. You're not entitled to anything here. This is not the UK. You're not going to be able to get benefits having been here for a certain time. You're not entitled to own land here. You're not entitled to become a permanent citizen just on the basis of pure residing here for a certain length of time. There are ways to do it, of course, but it's just not given away. Here there's a multicultural attitude, and it's one of inclusivity, but it is based, in my opinion, on the idea though that Thailand is for Thai people. So you better get used to that. You're not entitled to anything, and so don't let Thailand turn you into an arsehole. Like obviously what's gone on in Phuket, the way the guy spoke to the woman and kicked her off the step, is turned into an arsehole. And I think he said F off or something. And I've seen a lot of that. You get a lot of like Charlie Big Time attitudes of people thinking that they're quite wealthy and well-to-do and want to show it off, and I see that a lot. I've seen that a lot when I lived in Phuket, so I can speak from my own experience where I have seen that. I've seen the changing landscape of Phuket as well, which is reminding me a lot about Bali, where prices have gone up, property prices have gone up, and the general inflation of a market beyond where Thais can afford it. So I've seen that side of things as well. But I've seen a lot of arsehole behaviour from Farang. Of course, like Farang come over here and there's hundreds and girls that are like, handsome man, he's so handsome, he's so smart, he's so clever, and all that feeds the ego. And then they behave like idiots. Not all, but there's a lot of them that come over here and just like behave like idiots. And I'm not like putting the world to rights here. I'm just giving you my opinion from the way I've seen things over here. Is there's a good percentage of Farang that are behaved, integrated expats that have taken time to understand the language, that have taken time to understand the culture here, and understand that you're not Thai, you'll never be Thai, and this is not your country. You're a guest here at all times. Don't care if you've got children here, don't care if you're married here, don't care how many properties you think you own here. You're always a guest in this country, and so you've got to behave accordingly, you know. I think maybe like we've seen, certainly like in the UK, the change of the UK has been so dramatic culturally that now it's really a mixed bag of cultures. It doesn't have one solid nationality culture. It's not nationalistic I mean, there are some elements of nationalism there, but it's not nationalistic. Thailand is quite nationalistic. You know, that's why it's Thai land for Thai people, in my opinion. So some expats come in for Angkor and they really learn the culture and they learn the way the Thai mind works and how to be happy here, how to properly integrate. And that means that Thais are not perfect. It means understanding that money plays a part of relationship, that Gring Jai attitude, the respect for the elders. You know, if you're younger, you must have an automatic respect for the elders. It's about learning a little bit of the language and not getting upset or aggressive if somebody doesn't understand when you're speaking in English. That one really annoys me. That self-entitled attitude of, you know, you should speak English, you should know my language. You don't have to come to hate parts of the culture. It's about coming to accept it, that it's not the same way you think, it's not the same culture as you know what I mean? So that's my rant. They're like two other reasons, or I guess there's three there because of the weather. Three things to really understand before you come to rural Thailand. Three things not to do here. One, don't be here if you don't like the heat and the weather during the hot season, obviously. Number two, don't become the village ATM. Number three, integrate, don't become an entitled arsehole in this country. And then everybody will get along fine, everybody will be happy, and you can really get the best out of this country, out of Thailand, out of Thai people, out of all of the luxuries that we enjoy living here. Some people might be asking, you know, why are you vlogging again? I thought you were taking a break. Actually, I said I'm just cutting down from doing like 4 or 5 vlogs a week to 1 or 2 vlogs a week, and this is one of them. So I'm back. Thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing. Hope you got something from this video. And people that know more about this than me, please leave in the comments for other people to learn. That's what it's all about. I'm just sharing my opinions. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, they all stink. Catch you later. What do you think of this place then? Do you really like it? Do you really like it here?